Benediciamo il nome del Padre, del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo. Amen.
Oh Dio, vieni a salvarci. Signore, vieni presso il nostro aiuto. Gloria al Padre, al Figlio e allo Spirito Santo. Ora e sempre nei secoli dei secoli. Preghiamo con il Salmo 103. Quanto sei grande, Signore nostro Dio. Quanto sei grande, Signore nostro Dio. Benedici il Signore, anima mia. Signore mio Dio, quanto sei grande, rivestito di maestà e di splendore, avvolto di luce come di un manto.
Bless Yahweh, my soul, from the depths of my being, His holy name. Bless Yahweh, my soul. Never forget Olive acts of kindness. You stretch out the heavens like a tent, build your palace on the waters above, making the clouds your chariot, gliding on the wings of the wind, appointing the winds your messengers, flames of fire your servants. You fix the earth on its foundations. Forever and ever it shall not be shaken. You covered it with the deep like a garment, the waters overtopping the mountains. At your reproof the waters fled, at the voice of your thunder they sped away, flowing over mountains, down valleys, to the place you had fixed for them. You made a limit they were not to cross. They were not to return and cover the earth. In the ravines you opened up springs, running down between the mountains, supplying water for all the wild beasts. The wild asses quench their thirst. On their banks the birds of the air make their nest. They sing among the leaves. From your high walls you water the mountains, satisfying the earth with the fruit of your works. For cattle you make the grass grow, and for people the plants they need, to bring forth food from the earth, and wine to cheer people's hearts, oil to make their faces glow, food to make them sturdy of heart. The trees of Yahweh drink their fill, the cedars of Lebanon which he sowed. There the birds build their nest, on the highest branches the stork makes his home. For the wild goats there are the mountains. In the crags the conies find refuge. He made the moon to mark the seasons. The sun knows when to set. You bring on darkness and night falls, when all the forest beasts roam around. Young lions roar for their prey, asking God for their food. The sun rises and away they steal, back to their lairs to lie down. And man goes out to work, to labor till evening falls. From the book of Genesis, chapter 12, Yahweh said to Abram, "Leave your country, your kindred, and your father's house, for a country which I shall show you, and I shall make you a great nation. I shall bless you and make your name famous. You are to be a blessing. I shall bless those who bless you, and shall curse those who curse you, and all clans on earth will bless themselves by you."
Sorelle e fratelli, la Chiesa ricorda
Sisters and brothers,
Simone e Giuda,
today the
apostoli
Church
del Signore.
remembers Simon and Judah,
Soprannominato lo Zelote, Giuda di
Simon
Giacomo,
the
detto anche
Zealot,
Taddeo,
and Judah
che
called
appaiono agli
Thaddeus,
ultimi posti
who are
nelle
the
liste degli
last
apostoli.
places in the lists of the
Assomigliano
apostles.
agli operai
They
chiamati all'ultima ora,
resemble
che hanno
the
tuttavia
workers
portato a
that have
termine
been
la loro
called
missione,
at the last minute,
missione di testimoni del
but they
Vangelo
have
fino al
accomplished
martirio.
their mission to
Secondo uno scritto
witness
apocrifo, Giuda sarebbe stato
to the
crocifisso in
Church
Persia dopo aver evangelizzato
until their
l'Egitto
death and
e altre parti dell'Africa
martyrdom.
del Nord. Simone invece avrebbe
Simon
predicato in
has
Samaria,
preached in
in
Samaria, in Syria, in Mesopotamia,
e
to
sarebbe
India,
morto anche lui
and he
in
was
Persia.
killed in Persia
Ricordare
like
come la Chiesa ci chiede oggi
Jude.
questi due apostoli ci lega però questa sera
The
agli
Church
inizi della comunità cristiana.
brings
Allo
us
stesso
back
tempo
to
la
the
lunghissima
beginnings
storia della
of the
Chiesa
Christian
e a tutti coloro
community,
che nel tempo
the
l'hanno fatta
very
crescere,
long
l'hanno amata,
church history.
facendone di tempo in tempo lo strumento del Vangelo e della misericordia del Signore.
This church that has
Uno dei
been
passaggi
an
di questa
instrument
storia
of
in
mercy
epoca
and
contemporanea
communication
si
of
è
the
compiuto con
gospel.
il Concilio Vaticano II,
The
che proprio il
Second
28
Vatican
ottobre
Council
di
was
55 anni
proclaimed
fa
the
manifestò il desiderio
28
della Chiesa
October of
di entrare in
55
dialogo
years
con gli
ago,
uomini e le donne delle religioni non cristiane.
desiring to
Paolo VI,
enter in
in questo giorno di
communication
55 anni fa, promulgò la
with
dichiarazione Nostra Aetate sul
the
dialogo della Chiesa
contemporary
con le religioni
generation.
non
Paul
cristiane,
VI
con il voto
published
sostenuto
the
dal voto
Nostra
di un'amplissima
Aetate
maggioranza di padri conciliari.
document
Un giorno
of
storico
relationship with the
nella
other
millenaria storia della
religions and
Chiesa.
faiths.
Il
This was an
Concilio
historical day.
riteneva il dialogo necessario
The
a tutti i
Council
livelli. E oltre a quello
felt
ecumenico,
that dialogue
si
was
intraprendeva la via
necessary
del
at
dialogo
all levels,
interreligioso.
together with
Nel mondo di
ecumenical
oggi
dialogue, also
capiamo
the
bene
dialogue with
quanto
other
quella
faiths.
scelta sia
That
stata
choice
decisiva,
was
oltre
a
che
decisive
lungimirante.
one.
Oggi il dialogo è la risposta
Dialogue
alle
is
grandi
today
sfide del tempo
the
di
answer
oggi.
to all the
Il dialogo tra
challenges
le
of
civiltà
today.
è
Dialogue
l'unica
among
alternativa che
civilizations
vediamo
is the only
possibile al cosiddetto
alternative
scontro di civiltà.
possibility to
Il
the
dialogo
clash
è
of
l'unico modo in cui il genere
civilization.
umano può continuare a vivere
It's
in
the
pace
only way
e
to
con umanità.
continue to live in
Il
peace.
dialogo porta
Dialogue
con sé una
brings
rivoluzione
a
nella
revolution,
percezione gli uni degli
a
altri
revolution in the
e può essere
perception.
considerato un esempio di come anche dopo storie lunghe e complesse siano possibili la
After
riconciliazione
long and
e il nuovo
complex
inizio nei rapporti umani come anche nei rapporti tra i
negotiations,
popoli.
it is possible to
Da quel
start
giorno
afresh
la
with a
Chiesa
new
si impegnava a
relationship.
promuovere l'unità e la carità tra gli uomini
the Church was committing herself to bring unity among people on that day, exhorting Christians that with charity and with collaboration with faithful of other faiths, by witnessing their Christianity, could make the spiritual values progress. It's an old-style language, but we can perceive in this language a great strength, because the others were seen as brothers and sisters, like Pope Francis wrote in his Fratelli Tutti, condemning persecution and discrimination. In these last decades, our world and ourselves have witnessed that coexistence among different faiths has increased. This is the time of globalization. Yet, together with coexistence, also a quest for dialogue has grown. The prayer of Assisi, in the spirit of Assisi that we have reproduced in Rome, is the mature fruit of this great season, inaugurated by the Second Vatican Council 55 years ago. Religious leaders together as searchers of peace. We have seen the common commitment to join our spiritual forces. We did this to give hope to a world that was hit by the pandemic.
Intesi diranno benedette tutte le famiglie della terra. E questo lo spirito.
This is the spirit by which the believers come close to one another, praying each one in his tradition, but also witnessing for a common commitment for peace in the world. They prayed together against the pandemic, for the people who are hit by the pandemic, and also in this evening prayer, in spiritual communion throughout the world, we want to welcome the cry for healing for those who are suffering for the consequences of the pandemic. May the Lord give them. May the Lord give them the gift of being healed.
Lui che veniva da
Preghiamo il Signore della pace. Per la pace che viene dall'alto, per la misericordia di Dio.
Peace coming from heaven, for the mercy of God, for the salvation of our souls, let us pray to the Lord.
Per la pace nel mondo intero.
From peace in the entire world, for violence and death stop to reign on this world, let us pray. For all our brothers and sisters of other faiths with whom we walk in the spirit of Assisi, may we always meet, encounter each other, pray together and work together for peace. For all the old people who live alone in this time, who live in old people's homes and cannot receive friends or family, for those who have been abandoned, may the Lord be their consolation and salvation. For the healing of the sick, for those who have coronavirus, may the Lord heal them.
Signore, insegnaci a pregare. Padre nostro.
O Lord, teach us how to pray.
Il tuo nome, venga il tuo regno, fatta la tua volontà, come in cielo così in terra. Dacci oggi il nostro pane quotidiano. Rimetti a noi i nostri debiti, come noi li rimettiamo ai nostri debitori, e non ci indurre in tentazione, ma liberaci dal male. Amen. Signore nostro Dio, che ti sei degnato di navigare assieme ai tuoi santi discepoli e hai sgridato i venti in tempesta, ordinando alle onde del mare di tornare in bonaccia. Tu stesso anche ora navighi con noi e nell'ora della prova, calmando ogni vento contrario, fa alzare la bonaccia, divenendo dovunque nostro soccorso, perché tu, o Dio, sei buono ed amico degli uomini, ora e sempre. La pace e la benedizione del Signore siano su tutti noi.